Fox Hollow fam, and welcome to Baking with Fox Hollow Kitchen. I'm Todd, and on today's show we're going to shake things up a little bit and also have Dave come in and show you how to make a recipe that we are really famous for here at Fox Hollow. There isn't a year that doesn't go by where we don't have friends, neighbors, relative, anybody within an earshot to say, "Hey, when are you guys making salsa?" So today we're going to show you how to make salsa the Fox Hollow way. So if you're ready for not so ordinary salsa, then let's have some fun. Alright, first off we're going to start off with a 1.5 cups of mild peppers and also a 1.5 cups of hot peppers. It really doesn't matter what type of peppers you really use. There's so many different varieties out there. Lowe's, Home Depot, any of your garden centers are going to have a lot of different varieties. Just be creative and have some fun with it. So we're going to cut these up and get them ready for our trusty Ninja food chopper. And then we'll go on to the next step. Alright, we got our mild peppers chopped up here and have them in the Ninja food processor here. As I've said before in previous videos, guys, having one of these is a lifesaver. It makes things so much easier. So we're going to give these a couple pulses and just get them chopped down a little bit finer. And then we'll go on to our hot peppers. Alright, now that we've got our mild peppers chopped up and ran through the food processor, we're going to proceed on to our hot peppers. We're going to start off with just a big old jalapeno here. And especially with hot peppers, safety first. That's why I got the gloves on. If you are friends with our friends over at Pepper Tree Villa, they always make a reference to hashtag Doug's gloves. Well, today it's not going to be Doug's gloves, it's going to be Todd's gloves. So, let's get these chopped up and ready for the food processor. Alright, we got our hot peppers chopped up here, so we're going to get ready and get these ready for the food processor here and get them pulsed down so we can go on to the next step. Alright, now that we've got our hot and mild peppers cut up, and we already pre-cut our onions in advance, because, come on, who wants to see me cry on camera, unless it's for winning the Academy Award for flavor?
You love me! You really love me!
Let's get ready and start to blanch our tomatoes.
We're going to peel our tomatoes by first cutting a little X in the bottom of the tomato of each one. Just like that. This is just to make it easier to peel. And then once that's done, it's time to blanch them. I'm going to drop these tomatoes one by one into boiling water and let them boil in there for 30 seconds. At the end of 30 seconds, we're going to take the tomatoes out and douse them in ice water to stop the cooking. And finally, I'm going to cut the cores out of these tomatoes, and the peel just comes right off after we blanched them. Cut that out. This is where that X in the bottom comes in handy. You can just peel this right off. And then I'm going to slice these up into chunks that I'm going to put into the food processor and make them into smaller chunks. So I have some big chunks of tomato here. I'm going to put these in my food processor and just pulse them a couple times to make smaller chunks. Feel free to make the tomatoes just like the peppers any size you want. I don't like to have too chunky a salsa, so I'm going to bust them up into smaller, like half-inch size chunks. Once we have about 8 cups of tomatoes chopped and diced up here, we're ready to make our salsa. We're going to add in 2.5 to 3 cups of onions that we already chopped, the mild peppers from earlier, and the hot peppers. And we're going to give this a good stir here. Once we got this all mixed together here, we just have a few more ingredients to add. I'm going to start with 3/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, about 1 or 2 cloves of garlic minced up, and about a can of tomato paste. And then we'll stir this again to get all the ingredients mixed together. Now that that's all stirred together, you know, honestly, I like it just like this when it's fresh salsa before you cook it. But that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to drop this in a pot and cook it. First off, we're going to start with a large canner filled with water. I brought this to boiling. What I'm going to do is turn the heat off. And then I'm going to submerge several jars in here. Meanwhile, I have the salsa that we just made in a large stock pot, and I'm going to slowly bring this to a boil. Once the salsa is boiling, we'll let it simmer for another 10 minutes. Now that our salsa is boiled for 10 minutes, I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to grab one of these jars out of the hot water over here. Set it down real carefully. And I have a nice handy funnel for this purpose. We're going to take the boiling salsa and dunk it in here until we have a 1/2 inch left on the top of headspace. Now I want to measure this to where I have exactly 1/2 inch of headspace at the top. I have a nice little measuring stick for that, and that's perfect. So I want to put a lid on this while it's still hot. What I'm going to do, this is very important, I want to wipe the rim so that there's no residue on the rim of the glass. Put a little lid on here, and then one of the rings. And I just want to make this finger tight. I want to have it so that steam can still escape. I don't want it too tight. And that's it. We're going to do all the jars just like that. Okay, so I got exactly 7 jars out of that recipe. So the only thing that remains now is to put them in the canner and finish them off. Okay, my water's boiling again, and I've got my jars all ready to go. I'm going to dunk these in really gently. And we're going to let these boil for 15 minutes before taking them out again. Okay, so our timer went off. I'm going to turn off the heat here and take a look at how we did. Looking good. Let's gently pull these out. Alright, that's it. They're done. We just need to let them cool, dry them off, and let them cool on the counter. Well, now for the ultimate test. I'm going to get a little chip here, scoop up some salsa. That is really good. It's got a little bit of heat to it this time. Very spicy. Brilliant red color. I love it.
Wrapping up here today, I want to thank you again for joining us, and I want to leave you with these words from my favorite friend, Jennifer Aniston. There are no regrets in life, just lessons. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see y'all soon.
And if you like this video or any of our other videos, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for future content.